Welcome to my YouTube channel. Imagine reaching into an old jar and pulling out a coin that collectors would fight over, the kind of coin that looks so ordinary you wouldn't even glance at it twice, yet hidden within its copper surface could be a staggering fortune that changes your entire life overnight. And today we're talking about the legendary 1949 wheat penny from the United States, a coin that has sparked rumors, debates, and jaw-dropping discoveries among collectors across the world. Because believe it or not, under extremely rare conditions and specific minting anomalies, this single penny has been associated with values reaching as high as $70 million. Yes, you heard that right. A tiny coin that once bought you almost nothing could now rival the price of luxury estates and private jets. And before you think this is just another exaggerated story, stick with me because later we're also diving into another mysterious wheat penny that collectors whisper about, one that might be even more shocking than this. So don't go anywhere because the truth behind these coins will completely change how you look at your spare change forever. Now let's break this down because the 1949 wheat penny wasn't supposed to be special. Minted during a time when America was transitioning out of the post-World War II era, the country was stabilizing, industries were booming, and coin production was routine. Nothing flashy, nothing groundbreaking, just millions of pennies being produced in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, all bearing the iconic design by Victor David Brenner with Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the classic wheat ears on the reverse, a design that had been in use since 1909. But here's where things start getting interesting, because within these massive production runs, small minting inconsistencies began to appear, subtle errors that most people would never notice. But collectors live for these details. We're talking about off-center strikes, double dies, and even rare transitional planchet errors where the wrong metal composition may have been used, and it's these tiny imperfections that can transform a 1-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar artifact. Imagine a scenario where a 1949 penny was struck with a misaligned die, creating a ghost-like doubling effect on Lincoln's face or the lettering. Or perhaps it was struck on an experimental planchet leftover from earlier wartime production, instantly making it one of a kind. And when rarity meets demand, prices skyrocket, and collectors don't just see coins, they see history frozen in metal, each flaw telling a story of a moment when the minting process slipped just enough to create something extraordinary. And over the years, there have been stories circulating in the numismatic community about rare 1949 wheat pennies surfacing in unexpected places. From old piggy banks to estate sales, even inside forgotten jars sitting in attics for decades, and every time one of these coins is examined closely, there's that electric moment of anticipation. Could this be the one? Could this be the rare variant that collectors would pay a fortune for? And what makes it even more fascinating is that many people have likely held these coins without realizing their significance, spending them casually or tossing them aside as worthless, not knowing that under the right conditions, that same coin could command a price that most people can't even imagine. And this is where the psychology of collecting comes into play. Because rarity isn't just about numbers, it's about discovery, the thrill of finding something that shouldn't exist, something that slipped through the cracks of a system designed for uniformity, and the 1949 wheat penny embodies that perfectly. It represents a time when minting technology wasn't as precise as it is today, allowing for these rare anomalies to occur. And collectors today are constantly hunting for these hidden gems, using magnification tools, studying die varieties, comparing minute details that would go unnoticed by the average person. And here's the part that really gets people hooked, because the possibility that one of these rare pennies could still be out there, sitting in a drawer, mixed in with ordinary coins, or even circulating unknowingly, creates this sense of urgency, this feeling that you need to check your coins right now. Because what if you're holding one of these rare pieces without even realizing it, and just when you think this story couldn't get any more intense, remember I mentioned another coin earlier, one that collectors whisper about with even more intrigue, a coin that takes everything we've discussed and pushes it to another level. So make sure you stay with me, because coming up next is a wheat penny that might completely redefine what you think is possible in coin collecting. But before we get there, let's go even deeper into why the 1949 wheat penny continues to capture attention. One major factor is its accessibility. Unlike ultra-rare coins that are locked away in Next 1944's wheat penny. Have you ever checked your coins carefully, really carefully, because one tiny detail you overlook could mean the difference between spare change and a life-changing discovery, and the 1944's wheat penny is one of those coins that has stunned collectors, confused experts, and created stories that almost sound too wild to believe. Because hidden among millions of ordinary pennies is a version so rare, so mysterious, that it has been linked to values climbing as high as $80 million. And here's the twist that makes this coin legendary: it wasn't supposed to exist in the way it does. During 1943, the United States Mint switched from copper to steel pennies to conserve copper for World War II efforts. Then in 1944 they switched back to copper using recycled shell casings, but somewhere in that chaotic transition, a few planchets from the wrong year or composition slipped through the cracks, and at the San Francisco Mint, something extraordinary happened. A small number of pennies were struck under conditions that created anomalies so rare that even seasoned collectors get chills talking about them. Imagine a 1944's penny that was accidentally struck on a leftover steel planchet from 1943, or a coin with a dramatic double die where the lettering appears shadowed and slightly offset, or even a piece with an unusual metallic composition that gives it a different color and weight compared to standard issues. These aren't just minor quirks, these are the kinds of errors that rewrite auction records and spark global attention. And what makes this even crazier is that some of these coins have reportedly been found in the most ordinary places, tucked inside old family collections, discovered in inherited coin jars, even spotted by sharp-eyed collectors going through rolls of pennies, and every time one surfaces, it sends shockwaves through the numismatic world. Because the rarity is almost mythical, we're talking about coins that shouldn't exist according to standard minting procedures, yet here they are, defying expectations and turning everyday people into overnight legends. And this is where the psychology of rarity kicks into overdrive, because when something is both historically significant and extremely scarce, collectors don't just want it, they compete fiercely for it, driving prices to levels that seem unreal to outsiders. And the 1944's wheat penny sits right at that intersection of history, error, and mystery, making it one of the most talked about coins in the hobby. Now think about this for a second. How many times have you seen a penny and ignored it, maybe even dropped it because it didn't feel worth picking up? And yet coins like this prove that value isn't always obvious. Sometimes it's hidden in the smallest details, the tiniest variations that only reveal themselves under close inspection. And that's why collectors spend hours studying these coins, looking for specific markers like mint marks, weight differences, magnetic properties, and subtle design inconsistencies. Because finding one of these rare variants isn't just luck, it's a mix of knowledge, patience, and a bit of obsession. And let's talk about auctions for a moment, because when a verified rare 1944's variant hits the market, it doesn't just sell, it creates a spectacle. Collectors from around the world step in, bids escalate rapidly, And suddenly a coin that once circulated unnoticed becomes the center of attention, commanding sums that most people can't even comprehend, and this is where the legend grows, because each sale adds another layer to the story, reinforcing the idea that somewhere out there, more of these coins could still be waiting to be discovered. And here's the part that keeps people hooked, the possibility that one of these could still be hiding in plain sight, maybe in your home, maybe in a relative's old collection, maybe even in circulation. And that possibility is what turns casual viewers into dedicated hunters, because once you realize what's at stake, you can't ignore it anymore. You start checking every coin, every jar, every pocket, hoping to catch that one detail everyone else missed. And as unbelievable as the 1949 wheat penny was, this 1944's coin takes things to another level entirely, blending wartime history with minting errors in a way that creates something truly extraordinary. And now that you've seen how deep this rabbit hole goes, think about this. What if the next coin you come across isn't just another penny? What if it's a hidden piece of history waiting to change your life? Because stories like these aren't just about coins, they're about possibility, about the idea that something small and overlooked can hold unimaginable value, and that's exactly why collectors never stop searching, because the next discovery could be just one coin away. And if you've made it this far, you already know this isn't just a hobby. It's a hunt for hidden treasure that could be sitting closer than you think, just waiting for someone to notice it.